Hey guys, thanks for tuning us in for this 8th episode of Good Questions with Cameron Dole. Our special guests include rock and roll legend Dave Mason, country artist Jesse Lopez, Texas country artist Cooper Wade, actress and mathematician Danica McKellar, and rock legend Dee Snider. If you would, please take time to subscribe to the podcast. Also drop a like, a comment, or even leave some feedback. We'd appreciate that as well. Well, our first guest is rock and roll legend Dave Mason. He's performed on the biggest stages alongside his friends for over 50 years. A new version of the song he wrote way back in the day, Feelin Alright, was recorded remotely, along with Mick Fleetwood, Sammy Hagar, Michael McDonald, all of the Doobie Brothers, John McPhee, Tom Johnston, John Cowan, and Pat Simmons, and Dave's longtime drummer Alvino Bennett also lends a hand, as does Pat Simmons Jr., Pat's son, joining in the fun. Honored to have rock and roll supremacy. As good as it gets. We got Dave Mason on the line with us. And first off, Dave, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you. No problem.
Now, Dave, the quarantine, the quarantines, and all of the stuff that's going on, COVID-19. You guys have you and a couple of lesser knowns, I guess, have put together a remake of the classic "Feelin Alright." And Dave, tell us a little bit about how the idea of the remake came together in the first place.
Well, basically, I just we're all locked away here, and artists have been posting stuff, either solo or if they have a band, got together and done something. And basically, I was being asked, to put something up there, and I was kind of trying to think what to do that would have some kind, that would be really cool. And so I just figured, well, let me call some friends up and see if they'd be up for joining me on doing this. Mick Fleetwood, who I've of course known for years because I was with Fleetwood Mac from '94 to '96, and Doobie Brothers. We played shows on and off over the years. Plus, we spent about 3 or 4 months out touring 3 years ago with Journey. Sammy Hagar, I just met actually over Christmas. Michael McDonald, I've got to know over the last 4 years, and we all pretty much at one time or collectively have done an annual event out in Maui, the Maui Food Bank. So, we're all fans basically of each other, and we all know each other. So that's kind of how it really, and I just called everybody up and said, well, I got this idea of maybe doing this. Would you guys be up for joining me on it? And everybody agreed, and so then it was a question of just piecing it all together because everybody's in separate locations. So, and so that's how it was done. Basically put a basic track down, and Michael put a piano, then Mick put his drums on in Maui, and Pat Simmons put his voice on in Maui, and Tommy Johnson put his voice on in Northern California, and Sammy's in California, and so it was basically audio-wise just pieced together like that in separate locations. And then everything's filmed, basically everybody filmed the sounds on their iPhones.
And Dave, has this, how has the advancement of technology obviously has made this possible? And did you ever see a time or in the past, did you see that this would even be a possibility of putting things together the way we do now?
No, I mean, it's just technology's allowed you to do it. It's, I mean, everything's, it's great to have it. Especially in this time. I mean, the weird thing is, if it wasn't for this lockdown and this pandemic, this video would never have probably happened. So that's what's really bizarre.
Now, when you wrote the song, this is the song you wrote a couple years ago. Did you ever expect it to have the impact that it's had on so many generations of listeners?
And it was just a song I wrote. It's over I wrote it over 50 years ago. Wow. So, but it's just, I mean, part of my writing is I try to write about timeless themes. I mean, Feelin Alright is basically an unrequited love song, which that never changes. I don't care what kind of technology is out there.
And the song has been remade so many different times. Do you have a personal favorite of those? I mean, obviously the newest one is the favorite for now, but is there one that is really gripping to you, if you will?
Well, obviously the Cocker version. I mean, without that version, there would never have been the 50 plus cover versions of it. And I think probably every bar band has played it and probably still plays it at some point.
That's right. Again, the group now, the Dave Mason and the Quarantines, the remake of Feelin Alright. And Dave, always want to make sure and let folks know where they can find more information about the new song and everything else you've got going on as well.
Well, basically, you can go to DaveMasonMusic.com. DaveMasonMusic.com. If you go there, and you just click on go into the website. That actually the Feelin Alright video is the first thing in there, and then of course it'll list all the we should have been out touring all this year, but of course we're like everybody else. It's all been pushed off. So any tour dates and all that sort of stuff is all in there, and any more information than even I need to know is in there probably.
That's awesome. Well, Dave, it's been great to visit with you. I hope you have a great rest of your week and weekend, and hopefully we can catch up again real soon.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Next up, I had the chance to visit with my friend and country artist Jesse Lopez, who just released his latest single, Way Past Words. We'll visit about his single and let you get to know Jesse just a little bit better. It's been a minute, a little over a year, I guess, since we spoke in person live in Nashville. Jesse Lopez on the line with us, and Jesse, good to visit with you again, my friend.
Yeah, it's good to get on the phone with you, man. I'm excited to talk to you.
And I'm excited to talk. We got a new single to talk about, and as soon as I checked it out, it's got that signature Jesse voice on it. I was hooked, man. And for you to have a new single out, especially in these trying times that we're in right now, I mean, first off, how much of a challenge was it, and then how much did it make you appreciate the end product?
Man, the whole experience is. During this whole time was much different. Setting up, different sessions for different players, and the producer even has like a back room into the vocal booth where you're just like, you go into the back room, you do your vocals, and then you're, see you later. So it was definitely a different experience going through everything, but it seemed like everybody was kind of excited to work on something. To be honest with you, it wasn't like we weren't really having a hard time with availability or anything. So that was a plus side of it.
And Jesse, what has this last few months? What have you learned? Whether it's about the world or about yourself. I mean, we've all kind of gotten a little introspective at points. What has this whole thing taught you?
Man, I think that for us, or for me, I guess it was a really eye-opening, just like, live it up, just be, live life to the fullest, for sure take those opportunities that, whether it be a personal opportunity to go enjoy something or professional or whatever it might be. But I think personally that was one of the big things. And then, I really learned a lot. I feel like I learned a lot, especially through just through social media and with what people are posting. I feel like I learned a lot that people, realistically, I mean, for the most part at least, they're kind of getting creative. They're trying to have a good time, keep everybody entertained. And it's like, it's been cool to see positive energies coming out from social media and, the entertainment, and people are, like I said, people are getting really creative about stuff, and it's been fun to watch. It's been cool to see that, and then that musicians have come together in a way and really kind of stepped up as far as being in front of people and reaching out and doing it kind of like put everybody on the same platform, kind of in a way, and it was cool. It's just like the way for us to help each other right now is like cross branding and helping each other out. It's like it's kind of changed. The internet game has changed a lot, where we're like, to make progress, we have to help each other.
That's
I like
right.
it.
Now the Facebook Lives, that's something I know some folks have been doing it, but that has really gotten popular over the last few months. And what was the learning curve on those for you, Jesse?
Oh man, well, so when we first started out, my girlfriend is a full-time artist as well. So when we first got into the whole the pandemic thing and the quarantine and everything, we were kind of at a loss, with like the OBS software came out and Facebook changed everything as far as stream keys and all that stuff. And like, we definitely took a little while. I took a couple of weeks, like reading things and figuring out the best way of doing stuff. And, but I feel like it kind of pushed us, I think the industry was kind of going there anyways. So it pushed us into making a whole bunch of progress really fast, I guess.
Yeah, you didn't have a choice in the matter, did you?
No, not really. And it was like, and that's really our only way of reaching people right now, or getting in front of people. We're starting to get some outdoor gigs and stuff now, but that was, especially with trying to release music and everything, being in front of people was like the big concern.
Now, one of the questions I love to ask the singer-songwriters especially is, during this time, has the inspiration for music, has that been harder to find, or did it maybe drive you a different inspirational way, if you will?
Man, inspiration is kind of one of the, I don't know, I've never really had a hard time feeling inspired. But I think that there's a lot of inspiration coming from like an inward place right now, with, I guess morals and stuff like that, as opposed to coming from outside sources and experiences and other people and whatnot. It's been more so, feeling inward feelings coming out and doing that kind of stuff with writing songs right now, as opposed to, reflecting on outside resources, I guess.
And Jesse, it makes you kind of wonder what next year's summer music's going to sound like, right?
Yeah, I haven't even thought about that. That's funny. Just a bunch of like slow songs over the summer.
Let's get together and hold hands by the lake. That's what it's going to be.
Yeah, exactly. Finally.
Now, Jesse, like I mentioned, your voice is very distinctive. It's easy for you to pick out. Where, for our listeners out there, where did the inspiration in music come for you that obviously comes through in the vocals?
Man, vocally, I have a big rock background. Most of my childhood, I grew up listening to like my dad's old and tapes and stuff like that. So, like a lot of it came from, Rob Thomas, Bon Jovi, like major influences. Like Neil Young is another major influence of mine. And America, the band America, the Horse with No Name, that was actually, that band was like, they inspired me to start writing music and everything. So, yeah, just a lot of rock influence, vocally, until I got into country, later on in life, once I was exposed to it.
Yeah, and explain that. Obviously, you're not a Nashville. You're not one of the Nashville unicorns that's been there forever, right?
I am not. No, I'm from California.
And how much different is the music scene, even on the countryside, whenever you look at in California?
Oh man, that's like there's not even it's not really even comparable. It's like that's actually why I left California. I left LA. I was in LA working as a writer. I was doing a lot of work writing and kind of getting in some big rooms and stuff. And it wasn't like, I feel like not, I love pop and hip hop and everything. It definitely like has its time and place for sure. But it just wasn't like the writing scene wasn't as in depth, and it wasn't like they were like it wasn't the songs are more based around the beat and dancing and doing all that stuff. And for me, a great song comes from lyrics. So that was one of the big things. But I think the industry overall out there, I mean, it's been this way for a while, but you pay a venue to play. So like you can't you don't make money playing in LA. You're forking up like $400 or something just to play the venue. Yeah, it just like it wasn't as accessible. Everything wasn't as accessible. Like when my first time coming to CRS in Nashville, I was like dumbfounded at what was happening. I was like, there is no way this is actually happening right now. The radio station's just walking up, handing me cards, stuff.
It's
never happened in California.
And the difference in the musical genres, I mean, country music is unlike any other.
It really is, and it's so eclectic. It's like there's still such an artistry to it, and there's unique sounds to it and everything. And and like I was saying, it's still all like Nashville is all about the song still, and I love it. And
speaking of the song, the new single, Way Past Words, Jesse, I want to give you a chance to tell the listeners a little backstory of the new single as well.
Yeah. Okay. So, I had gotten into a relationship at the beginning of the year. And, so this is actually really funny. So my girlfriend and I are both songwriters, and we'll be in the full discussion, whether it be a happy discussion or an argument or something like that. Like one of us will say something, and the other one will be like, "Oh, wait, write that down." So this is one of those cases. We were sitting there talking, and I was talking about we were just getting the feels out or whatever, and I said, Way Past Words, and she said, "Man, that's a song." So I took it to my buddy Ryland Fisher, and man, we a few hours later we had a great song. We were super excited about it.
That's right. And Jesse, we're gonna wrap up with that new single. Want to make sure though, and let our listeners know where they can find the single, find out more information about social media, merch, and all that stuff as well.
Awesome. Yeah. Really trying to push the Spotify numbers to just go around. So hit me up on Spotify. But for everything else, my website, jesselopez.com, or my social media platforms at Sounds Like Jesse.
There you go. Well, Jesse, it's great to visit with you again, my friend. I wish it was face to face, but hopefully sooner than later that'll come about.
Hey, man, we'll get there eventually. It'll get back to normal.
That's right. Well, Jesse, always good to visit with you, my friend.
Likewise. Very appreciated. Thank you for the support, man. We'll talk to you soon.
For more information on his merchandise, tour dates, music, and more, just visit jesselopez.com. Up next is Texas artist Cooper Wade, who I visited with just as the lockdowns began earlier this year. We talked about the situation going on then, his latest music, and just trying to keep his sanity. First off, Cooper, nice to meet you first off, and looking forward to visiting.
Well, it's nice to meet you, Cameron. I'm enjoying the Cameron Dole experience right now, but I do have on my face mask, my rubber gloves, my hazmat suit, just so that nothing gets transferred via the phone lines this morning. You can't be too cautious with the CDC. So, yeah, it's good to meet you from afar, I guess you could say.
That's about the only way anybody's allowed to meet right now, isn't it?
Yeah, no more handshaking, just kind of bumping elbows and like giving a kind of head nod, what's up, across the room, and it's all good. That's right.
Now, obviously, as an artist, this has definitely had an impact on you guys as artists, not being able to get out and play in open airs and stuff like that. What has been the biggest change, and maybe something that you found that you appreciate now in this downtime, if you will?
I think right now I appreciate tequila. I've got 4 kids at home, and I don't know. I mean, I'm not opposed to beating some every now and then because I think they probably need it. But no, it's tough, man. It is. When you're used to playing 8 to 12 shows a month, and you rely on some of that income to not only help pay your bills, but also help you put back into your business. I mean, I run my artist, my music like it's a business. I mean, that's what it is. It's a small business, and my employees are my band members and things like that. And so it does, man. It's like when you run a restaurant or a hotel or whatever, and you got people that rely on you to help pay their bills, and I just feel helpless. And so it's very, very frustrating to have 20 shows canceled, and I don't know how much money it's all going to get lost and all that. But then we've got a brand new radio single that we're coming out in April, and we've got a music video, and so all that stuff adds up and it costs money. And when that's shut off and you're just unable, it's not like I got sick and I couldn't perform. Like the whole world is sick and nobody can perform and nobody can go out, and it's just you just feel helpless. And so you're thinking about ways, how can I try to generate other ways to generate income. And there's just not a whole lot you can do right now. I mean, we're going live and doing Facebook videos and all that, and I'm not doing it. I'm not charging people. I'm not saying, hey, you got to tip us. People want to tip, and we're going to let them tip, and we appreciate that. But that's not why we're doing it. We're going live because we are cooped up in the house. We are musicians who want to play, and we want to entertain people. And by God, if doing it over Facebook and over video is the only way we can do it, and that's what we're going to do because it's in our heart, it's in our blood, it's in our soul. It's who we are as artists, and we want to perform. So that's what we've been doing. So we've been going live every night since last Thursday. It's different every night. It may be country music. Like last night, we did a little bit of country. We did La Bamba. We did some Disney songs. I had my daughter on there with me. I mean, it's just we laughed a lot, and we cut up and goofed off. And I think right now that's the best medicine. This is a serious virus, and we're not trying to make light of it. And, I've got a handicapped daughter who, if she got this, it would be very, very deadly. My father just got out of the hospital. He's got cancer. He's going through chemo and stuff, and his white blood count is 0, and his immune system is 0. And so for people like that, I mean, this is serious, serious stuff. And so we're not trying to make light of it, but in the same time, we're all looking at this going, okay, what do we do in the meantime? Well, in the meantime, we got to just make the best of it. We got to encourage each other. We got to love each other, and we're going to all get through this together. So that's what we're trying to do, man.
And you are in the realm that can actually music can touch so many lives and can bring you up, can mellow you out at times. And how cool is it for you to know and to get that feedback from the viewers from the Facebook that maybe you just put a smile on their face. I mean, how huge is that for you?
Well, it's massive. And as a singer songwriter, the biggest compliment you can get from one of the songs that you've written is for people to say that song changed my life, or that song spoke to me, or that song we played at my wedding or my grandfather's funeral. I mean, to know that the things that we've written that come from our hearts, totally connects to people out there, y'all's hearts. That's what this is about. It's not about spins on the chart. It's not about downloads or Spotify's or what. It's not about that. It's about we want what's in our heart and our soul and what just comes from our innard to touch you guys and for y'all to be able to receive it and to, you can relate to it. And that's the thing. And I've said from day one that, music is very emotional. I mean, it is, whether it's happy, sad, whatever, it's all very emotional. And to me, country music is the one genre of music that reaches people from birth to death. There is no age requirement for country music. We've all been through maybe a rap phase or a ska phase or an alternative rock phase or just a rock and roll phase or a classical or jazz or whatever. But to me, country music reaches birth to death. Whether you're 2 years old or 102 years old, you can tap your foot. You can feel the beat. You can enjoy, and you can relate to a lot of the lyrics that are in country music because it's the backbone of America. And so that's why I love the fact that when I open up my mouth, country music's what come out. I love other music, I do. But when I open up my mouth, it's country music. That's just what it is.
There's no change in that.
No, sir. Not at all. Not at all.
And what, now that you've had to sit back and kind of, for lack of a better term, quarantine yourself, social distancing, however you want to put that, what do you miss the most?
Man, I miss performing in front of people. I miss my band. I mean, I haven't seen my band in, 2 or 3 weeks. And we were actually just talking today. We're like, man, we need to all just meet at somebody's house, just do a full band practice, and then let's just go live and do a full band show live on Facebook or something. Just because, I mean, we're a family. You know, my guys, I treat them like employees, but I also treat them like family. And so, you know, we go to each other's houses. We have dinner together. We know each other's wives and kids, and you know, we're involved. We're a family, and so when you don't get to see your family, especially when it's, you know, when what you love to do is perform and entertain folks, you know, that's what makes it hard, man. I mean, I'm sitting at home. My wife and kids are tired of seeing me. They're tired of seeing me play the thing. You know, they're like, dude, shut up. We're tired of it. But it's like, man, this is part of who I am, and to have to sit here and do nothing and, you know, watch the news or clean the backyard or whatever I'm doing, it's just like, man, this is not what I'm wired to do. You know, I want to perform, and I love seeing people on the dance floor, twirling around the dance floor and having a great time and throwing a few cold beers back. I mean, that's what we do. And so when we can't do that, we just feel out of place.
And I've been texting. I reach out to all my music friends, especially during hard times, difficult times. One of the texts that I sent out yesterday, I had one of them talking about trying to stay creative in this time. And I asked him, I said, do you find it more or less difficult in times like this to be creative? And I'm going to broach the same question to you.
I don't think for me that a negative situation like this makes it harder for me to be creative. I struggle with creativity from time to time, just in my personal life. Whatever, you know, I mean, I may have 30 song ideas and I've written some things down, and then I never go back and touch them again, and because I just don't feel it. For me to sit down and forcefully write a song, to me, that's not me. It's not going to be good. It's going to be forced. It's not going to work right. Some of the best songs have written themselves in 10 or 15 minutes. And so I have reached out to a couple artists going, hey, man, since we're down right now, let's get together and write. There's a bunch of us that are not doing anything, and we could either write via Skype or you know, just text message or whatever. Or, man, I don't mind driving to your place as long as I know you hadn't been kissing on somebody with COVID-19. I feel pretty safe. But, no, I mean, you know, when all of us are out working, we never get to see each other. We never get to, you know, watch each other play. So I've been logging on Facebook, watching other artists do their Facebook Live videos. So I never get to see them do their live shows because we're always out working too. So I hope that in the next 2 to 4 weeks I can write some good songs. And hopefully they're not all about COVID-19 or being quarantined or face masks, you know, because that'll get old here in about 5 weeks. But, you know, I need to go back through my tablet of songs and touch some of these ideas I've had in the past and say, hey, can I actually put something to this, and can I finish it? So, you know, you got to take advantage of the time that you got and use it for what you can and try to be successful, you know, with that time.
Yeah, I'm not exactly sure what the go-to is in phrasing with COVID-19 on the red dirt side of things, but I'm sure there's one out there, right?
Well, you know, yeah, there is. I'm really good friends with Chad Prather, and a lot of y'all know and love Chad. He does the Facebook videos in his truck, and he's hilarious. And he's got a new song it's going to be called Quarantine, and it's freaking hilarious. So I know he's going to be releasing that pretty soon. He sent it to me the other day, and it really, really is funny. So there are going to be some guys that do, you know, funny stuff like that. And I'm usually one of them. We've got a funny song out right now called What Do You Want to Eat? And it's about the girls who can never decide when you ask them, hey, babe, what do you want to go eat? And they're just like, oh, I don't know, you pick. And you're like, oh, no, here we go. So, yeah, so, I mean, I think you can rhyme a lot with 19 or with, you know, Corona's a little harder, you know, to rhyme with. But, yeah, there'll be some funny stuff come out of this, I'm sure. There always is.
You talked about doing some Facebook Living. I wanted to give an opportunity for our listeners to be able to log on, check out what you got going on Facebook, Twitter, social media, all that as well.
Yeah, man. So I've got 2 Facebook pages. One's my personal page, which you'll see stuff about my family and just other stuff. My other one's my music page, which is mainly just to, you know, to advertise the shows and keep people updated on what we're doing. So if folks want to log into my personal page, I've already got, I think, 5,000 friends. I can't accept more. But you can click the follow button, and you can follow my personal page. I think I've got around 24,000 followers on that page. So just click follow, and you'll get to see what we do, and we'll try to give you a heads up. Hey, tonight we're going to go live at such and such time, and that way you can set your alarm on your phone or whatever to make sure you tune in. But I'm always a real positive person. I don't post a lot of negative stuff, a lot of drama. I just don't think we have room for that in our lives. And I'm very, very blessed. No matter what goes wrong in my day, I've got 10 other blessings that God has given me, and so I try to be very positive and very much an encourager. I do have a handicapped child, a special needs child, and so I always try to reach out to families and people that have special needs kiddos, because I know a lot of us feel alone sometimes. And so if you have special kiddos or know people that do, encourage them to follow along. My daughter Anna is a big part of my life. She's on my page. We went Facebook Live last night. I encourage you to go watch that, because she is a hoot. She is a rascal. And we have a lot of fun together, and we just celebrate life, and that's what we're supposed to do. So, yeah, we got Facebook, we got Twitter, Instagram. I just downloaded that app TikTok because my teenage kids are doing it, and I'm like, man, I'm not a real big dancer, so I don't foresee myself posting videos of myself dancing on TikTok. But, we'll hopefully post some fun stuff and, just have a good time and all that kind of stuff. So that's really what it's about for me is, social media is to keep up with people and learn things. And there's a lot of misinformation out there, so you gotta kind of watch that, as we all see, especially in times like this, a lot of misinformation. But like I said, no, we try to be a light in the dark world. We try to be a positive, thing for people to latch onto and enjoy. And I think we all need that, especially in times like this. And I think every day we all need that positivity in our lives to keep us going and to help us to love each other more. Love your wife, love your husband, love your kids, love your family, love your friends. Just love people. It's not that hard to do.
That's right. Well, Cooper, it has been great to get to know you this morning. Again, folks, follow him on Facebook. Cooper, looking forward to the new single coming up in the near future, and hopefully we can visit again real soon, my friend.
I would love that, buddy. I would love that. Everybody be safe, love each other. Y'all keep Oklahoma, going up there. We sure love you guys a lot, and hopefully we can see y'all soon.
For more information, visit cooperwade.com. Our next guest is Danica McKellar, who you may remember as Winnie from the Wonder Years. Danica has spent her adult life helping children understand mathematics while being entertained. Danica's new book is called The Times Machine.
Always good to visit with our good friend Danica McKellar. And first off, Danica, good to have the chance to visit with you again.
Yes, it's great to be back. Thank you for having me.
Now, Danica, tell us a little bit about the Time Machine. This using graphic novel to do some teaching. And you've used all kinds of different forms to help with math, and I know this is just another example of that.
Yes, well, it's also actually called the Times Machine, not the Time Machine, the Times Machine, because we were doing multiplication, times tables, and division. It's full of cartoons and comics and jokes and just silly, fun stuff. I've been writing McKellar math books now for 13 years, and this is my 10th book. And with this book, which is for grades second through fifth grade, learning multiplication and division, I finally now have covered all of the curriculum from ages 0 to 16, and I'm so happy about that, because today's, especially when parents are suddenly thrown into becoming more responsible for their child's education than ever before, I'm so glad to have resources for all these ages, and it just couldn't have come at a better time. So I'm thrilled. All my books, by the way, can be found at McKellarMath.com or on my link in my bio, my Instagram page, or Facebook or Twitter. So I've got you guys covered. And it's all about making math fun and accessible. And, one of the things I keep hearing from parents is that, so they're suddenly having to help their kids with their homework. And the math is especially challenging, especially because the math looks different from how it did when we were kids, which is true with the whole Common Core thing and other changes. So in both the back of the Times Machine and also the book that comes right before it called Do Not Open This Math Book, and that's for addition and subtraction for first and second graders, I have in the back of both of those books a new math translation guide for grown-ups, so that the vocabulary and the techniques and things that are just different kind of have like a cheat sheet of here's what they're doing now, here's what it was called when we were doing it. And here's, and then throughout the book, I'll show both ways of doing a problem, whether it's 3-digit addition, which, believe it or not, they figured out how to make that different as well, or some of the multiplication and division techniques. And I'll do the problem both ways, both how they're doing it now, how we learned it, and showing how they're really the same thing. It's just dressed up differently. So it looks kind of different, which looks kind of scary and foreign, but then I can break it down and show you, look, see how this is actually the exact same thing as what we did, and to kind of help bridge that gap.
Now, you speak about having to help out, especially during the coronavirus, COVID-19. A lot of families have had to work with their kids on their schoolwork. And what do you think is a way for parents to be able to kind of keep things fresh, if you will, when everything seems to be so stale around us?
Yeah. Well, you mean with regard to schooling? Yeah. So I've been homeschooling my son for his whole life, basically. He's 9 years old. And so, for me, it hasn't been a transition, but I certainly have developed a lot of strategies, a lot of tips and little tricks along the way that I can now share with parents, which is nice. Again, on my Instagram page, if you go to my profile page and there are those circles right underneath my picture, one of the circles is called School at Home. Click on that, you'll find a whole bunch of little videos that I made a few months ago in response to all these parents needing help and needing assistance for how to homeschool their kids. So they're all there, and as we're looking to the new school year, parents are saying, oh my gosh, am I going to be doing this again? I'm really glad to be able to provide that resource as well.
And you talked about how things have changed from the math in our days to the math of the kids today. And as a mathematician and somebody that helps teach math, how hard is it for you to keep up with all the changes that are always happening?
They don't happen that quickly. I mean, there was a whole big change that happened in 2011 that got implemented over the next couple of years, and that was well before I was writing these elementary school books. The Common Core doesn't affect middle school as much as it affects elementary school in terms of the changes. So middle school and high school really haven't changed that much. The addition, subtraction, multiplication, and division, those kinds of things really were affected, and the way they first learned fractions, things like that. But when they're really doing the more challenging middle school stuff, it's all the same. So so the changes happened well before I wrote those books. And I actually looked into, should I update books like Math Doesn't Suck, that is middle school with fractions, decimals, and I sent the book to a bunch of teachers and said, read through this book. Tell me if you think there's anything that should be changed. And I didn't get it. Everyone was like, not really. And I did my own research because I teach math in my books. I do not pretend to know what it's like to be on the front lines as a teacher. So I always consult with teachers, always, before I write any book. I have lengthy conversations with 15 to 20 teachers for that grade level. And everybody came back saying, no, it's really all the same at that level.
That's awesome. Again,
but if it changes, I will definitely update those books.
There you go. Again, the new book, The Times Machine. Sorry about that earlier, Danica. Always good to visit with you. Now, tell again, remind our listeners where they can find out more information about all of the teaching books.
Yeah, all the math books, and they're all silly and fun and goofy, but they actually really do teach the math. They're all at McKellarmath.com, or there's a link on my bio on my profile page for Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. There's also, if you're interested in really reading about the Times Machine, there's also thetimesmachine.com. You can get there directly, or you can get there through McKellarmath.com.
All right. Well, Danica, always great to visit with you. Hope your family enjoys a happy Independence Day weekend, and look forward to visiting again real soon.
Sounds great. Thank you so much.
You can find out more, like she said, at McKellarmath.com. Our final guest is legendary rocker Dee Snider, who we've all come to know and love since his days sporting the makeup and wild blonde hair as lead singer of Twisted Sister. Dee has been a great guest over the years, and this time shares some concerns we never seem to truly think of in times of peril. Travelers stuck that couldn't return home during the pandemic.
Whenever I thought of COVID-19 and coronavirus, I was like, who can I get on an expert? And I got one this morning. And Dee, thanks for filling in for us this morning.
Yeah, well, I've become an expert in a very specific aspect of the effect of this virus. And it's not health-wise. It's people who are stranded overseas and away on vacations. Because realize this thing has gone down during spring break, one of the biggest vacation times of the year, and millions of people all over the world were away to different destinations when the gates closed, so to speak.
And Dee, you have firsthand knowledge and experience going through this whole thing, the process of trying to get back to the U.S. because of the coronavirus. And tell us your experience with it.
Well, my 23-year-old daughter was in Peru at a retreat, and under normal circumstances, it's a very lovely, beautiful thing. I've been to Peru. I performed in Peru. Machu Picchu is amazing. My wife's been to this retreat. My sons have been to this retreat. There was no reason to worry about it. It's just the usual, you fly in, the bus meets you, retreat, and they take you there. It's lovely, all under normal circumstances. When the coronavirus started really rolling, countries started panicking. Peru shut its borders suddenly, without any warning, and locked everybody in and out. And they are the only country that has refused to allow foreign nationals to leave. They're doing a tourist exchange where basically you send ours home, and we'll let some of yours go back. They are. You realize, when you're visiting, you're like, oh, this is lovely, but you don't know this is they're almost a military dictatorship. Martial law went into effect, and it is a cartel-ridden country. And at times like this, countries like that revert to the most base instincts, and it is not a good place to be.
Yeah, we actually had someone from Southwest Oklahoma that was stranded down there. I know he set up a GoFundMe page, but is that really what it takes in a situation like this, Dee?
As a dad, I went full Liam Neeson taken on this situation as best I could. And this is a message to people, because I told as many people I'm on social media, just because I got my daughter back, I said, don't worry, I'll keep getting the word out. People need to understand that this could happen to anybody. It wasn't irresponsibility on anybody's part. When the president said, everybody can return home, everybody tried to get new plane tickets. And you know what happened to the phone lines? You couldn't get them. 4 hours on hold. And then a country like Peru, without any warning, just closes the doors and says nobody's getting in or out. Okay, you can't predict that. There's nothing you can do about that. And I'm here to tell people that, being a rock star, you have certain access, but so does a construction worker. I mean, when they want to build a house, they just ask their friends to build it. Everybody's got resources. You've got to turn over every stone. If you think I know black ops people, I do not. I do now, Cameron. I know mercenaries now. I had mercenaries in the jungles of Peru heading to extract my daughter while I was waiting for the government to do something, and thankfully the government. But I'm saying I didn't know these people, but I called anybody who would answer the phone and said, how can you help me? I got to get my daughter out. So just do not. You got to be unrelenting. Get your family member home.
And what was the mentality for you, Dee? I know you had to be on high alert, high intensity, and how did you maybe keep yourself reeled in and not overreacting, if you will?
I can't say I didn't. I can't say that I did. I mean, I don't think I breathed for the 2 weeks. She got there on the 12th. The Peru government shut the doors on the 15th, and we didn't get her back to last Thursday night. And I don't think I really fully breathed easily until I saw her touchdown in Miami. So, it's like, I don't think one thing you got to do, though, people said, when I started getting a hold of people, they did say they appreciated my relative patience. They said, the embassy said, we just have people calling up screaming. And that doesn't get anything done. They're trying to get people out of them, but you got to work with them. So, you got to be unrelenting, but you got to be as cool as possible. At the same time, it's tough when you think that potentially, look, we've all seen those movies about South America. They're not based on fantasy. That last Rambo movie is very true. It's a sick, dark side of tourism, but young girls are getting snatched all the time on the streets. It happens all the time. And while my daughter was safe in the retreat, I knew the minute that retreat was over and she was back in the general population, she would be in harm's way. Period.
And obviously, how are you now observing the quarantine, social distancing, and are you appreciating that now that you got the daughter back?
You know what? It gave incredible perspective, and perspective is a great thing to have at this time. I was at war with my neighbors over something they were doing construction-wise. I really could care less right now. I saw them. I said, "How you doing? You okay? Everybody cool? Everybody safe?" You know, because it's like, what does this really matter when people are dying? You know, I mean, so where I am is just like everybody else. Believe it or not, I mean, I live in Belize. I'm calling you from Belize, and it sounds great. I live on the. There's a quarantine. There's a curfew. It's takeout only. Social distancing. You can't leave your house unless it's for food or medical reasons. So it's the whole world, man. This is no different any place else, except some countries like Peru are reacting very differently. To be doing a tourist exchange like they're hostages, people who just went on a vacation. Peru is going to suffer for this for many, many, many decades to come, because no one's going to Machu Picchu. Who cares when there's a chance that you may hold me hostage?
That's right. And of course, Dee, folks can keep up with everything you've got going on, website, social media wise as well.
Yeah, one of these days, I was supposed to start directing my first movie. That's getting shut down temporarily. I'm working on my first fictional novel, so I got time to finish that. It's almost done. And I've got a live DVD, well, I don't know if they call them DVDs, and a Blu-ray and album coming out this summer, which may be very timely since there's no concerts. So people can at least, they can hang out with a six-pack in the living room and watch a live concert. So there's a lot going on, DeeSnider.com, and it's Snider with an I, not a Y, people, okay?
There you go. Well, Dee, always great to visit with you. Appreciate your time, and continued safety upon you and yours.
Same to you, man. Take care, Cameron.
As always, you can find out more information at DeeSnider.com. Thanks again for joining us for this episode of Good Questions with Cameron Dole. And if you ever have a comment, question, or anything else you'd like to know, find me on Instagram, aka_Cameron, on Twitter at Cameron Dole, on my Facebook page, Cameron Dole Altus. If you'd like to help out in the funding for this podcast, feel free to click the support tab and follow the instructions. We'll see you soon for episode 9.